Welcome back to the PBC. It's your boy PB K9s giving it to you the way I always do. Fair and unbiased, raw and uncut. Got some breaking news coming from the PBC satellites from outer space today. My brothers and my sisters. I hope everybody's taking care of them pets across this good old green earth. And big salute and big shout out to everybody that's taking care of their pets across this good old green earth, man. It's your boy PB K9s and I'm giving it to you. We're going to get into this news and we got a little bit of a question one brother asked that I'm going to speak on myself. Like I said, the lives may be sporadic. I may not give you no promoting the lives for the next couple of days or so. I might just pop up and go live, because that's going to seem to be the best way I can do it. You know what I'm saying? So big shout out to them brothers down in the chat, them sisters down in the chat, and everybody that's watching and listening right now. We got a dog fighting bust, dog fighting arrest, however you want to call it. 20-something dogs seized. I'm not even going to sit here and play with y'all brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times I get up, I try to do it, and I mess it up and all kind of things. I can't even, right now I can't, just looking at it, I can't pronounce the name. You know what I'm saying? It's one of them funny, it's a A word and it's a funny long name. It's right here in the United States though. And I'm going to give it to you the way I always give it to you. I just, can't pronounce the name. So I got the news for you. They always get mad at me for putting the news out, but they don't get mad at these other news outlets for giving me the news. You know what I'm saying? And I still can't figure out why anybody mad when they're already on the news. Only way anybody can be upset at me for putting them on the news if you're trying to hide it from the motherfucking start. That's the only way you can be mad at me. Other than that, you ain't got no reason to be mad at me. Why? Because I exposed that you got locked up for dog fighting? Why? What you want me to put? Every time I put your picture up there, you want me to put my picture up there to saying it happened to me too? That what you want me to do? Maybe that'll make you feel better. Oh, dog fighting bust today. Let me put my picture up here so they won't get mad. Dog fighting bust today. Oh, let me put my picture up here so they won't get mad. It's like, shit. But I understand what it is. It's no different than being mad at some dude in the street because he talking all kind of shit to you. You won't say nothing to him. You know what I'm saying? But you go home and beat your old lady up because you're really mad at him. It's no different. You know what I'm saying? You really ain't mad at me, but you just want to choose me to be mad at. So like I said, man, all I do is give the news, get the news, give the news. Not one time do I say, oh, you guilty, or you not guilty, or you guilty, or you guilty, or you. I don't do that. That ain't my job. And I really don't do the follow-ups to the case. I just give the actual events as they happen. I'm not digging into your situation to see what you got going on. I'm just posting the news. So I can't really understand why a lot of y'all is mad about. But at the same time, I ran out here in these streets, so I know what a lot of y'all mad about. You want me to keep that shit on the under. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I never point a finger at nobody and say, you guilty, you not guilty. I just give the damn news and tell these brothers and sisters the grass ain't what you think it is on the other side of that fence. That's all I do. These good old great folk came here today to see what they talking about with this dog fighting bust, dog fighting arrest, whatever you want to call it. So that's what I'm going to give. That's what I'm going to give to them. So without any further more, because I'll screw it up. It's your boy PB K9s giving it to you fresh on the press. Let's get into it.
Tonight in Beaver County, 2 people are facing charges accused of running a dogfighting ring in Aliquippa. The Beaver County Humane Society says Ronald Kidder and Terry DeCarlos have been charged with multiple counts of animal cruelty and neglect, coming after 23 dogs were seized from an Aliquippa property during the severe snowstorm back in January. The Humane Society continues to care for all of those dogs, and they say they'll continue to do so until the owners give up their rights so then they can be put up for adoption.
Police have filed charges in connection with an alleged dog fighting ring in Aliquippa. Channel 11 told you about multiple dogs found chained outside a home during a winter storm back in January. Investigators later claimed they found signs of dog fighting at that home. On Tuesday, Aliquippa police filed nearly 200 animal cruelty and related charges against Ronald Dean Kidder, 48, and Terry Ramon DeCarlos, 48. According to police paperwork, officers were called to the 100 block of Penn Street on January 25th for reports of multiple dogs left out in freezing temperatures. Responding officers looked in the backyard and found 11 dogs in heavy chains and showing signs of hypothermia, records say. A search of the property later that day reportedly resulted in 23 dogs being seized from the property and placed in the Beaver County Humane Society's care. Police say they found a pit made of plywood inside the home, with what appeared to be bloodstains in the area. Also, police claim they found evidence that the dogs were being prepared and maintained for fighting, including medications and a treadmill. An evaluation by a BCHS doctor showed the dogs had traumatic injuries in various stages of healing, records say. As of Tuesday, the dogs had been in BCHS care for 51 days, costing the shelter more than $50,000, officials say. Everyone at BCHS is relieved that we've finally reached the point where we can file charges and hold the offenders accountable. Humane Society police officer Wendy Stafford said, "Dogfighting is unbelievably cruel, and these dogs have suffered so much. Even after experiencing profound trauma, many of them are gentle and affectionate with our staff and volunteers. The dogs do not legally belong to BCHS and can't be made available for adoption until the defendants in the case sign over the dogs. BCHS reaffirmed its commitment to care for the dogs until that happens. BCHS is always prepared to handle any sudden influx of animals who need our help, but that doesn't mean we have unlimited access to money or other resources long-term without significant support," shelter manager Kaylin Rankin-Smith said. BCHS is seeking foster families to help care for the dogs in their recovery, even temporarily. Volunteers can also help by walking or playing with the dogs, cleaning kennels, and doing other tasks at the shelter.
And the main thing I can't figure out of all of this shit is why the hell y'all want to be so secretive now when it comes to this news, but you didn't want to be secretive when you was going to do all this illegal shit. Not talking about these brothers. I'm talking about in general population. You take the world with you to go do this shit, and then you wonder why you get mad when you're on a little bit of news. I don't understand it. And like I told my brother, you know, this pit bull game, these are the most funny, different type of people there is. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to pet owners, you know, brothers in the pit bull community always like to brag about the pit bull community, this and that, what they is over other breeds. You know, what you is over other breeds is the most hating motherfuckers out there, period. You know, there is not another breed in the dog game that people has as many haters as the American Pit Bull Terrier breed people has. You know, haters and scammers. You know, if you want to get juked, robbed, scammed, or any type of that type of stuff, you know, or get hated on for no reason at all, then get you a pit bull. That's all you got to do, man. What they call a game dog, you know, because they won't hate on you. They hate on you. I ain't gonna lie to you, they hate on you even if you ain't got no what they call a real pit bull. They hate no Hawk, Marlon with Hawk when he doing all his fancy tricks and all kind of shit and doing the things he do with his dogs, the protection work and all. They hate on all that. Oh, that ain't a pit bull. That ain't this and that ain't that. That ain't this. And the whole time they hating, they ain't coming to the table with nothing. So this pit bull community, like I said, it's one of the most screwed up communities out of all the pet owners out there. Brothers will hate on you for no reason at all. Don't got no reason at all to be mad at you, and they'll be mad at you. Brother or sister, my brother or sister, you know, because the sisters get hate just as much as the brothers get hated. Sisters out there doing their thing with the dogs better than some of y'all brothers doing y'all thing with the dogs. Got y'all brothers hating on them. They don't be mad at whoever the news people say tipped them off to why they was in the woods or why they was in this particular shed or this particular place. They don't be mad at the person that did that. They mad at the person that give the news, you know? And like I said, you only got one reason to be mad at me for doing the news. If you're trying to hide something, you ain't trying to hide nothing, then all I did was show the same thing that TV 13 showed. All I did was show the same thing TV 15 showed. So that's why you being mad at me don't mean shit to me. You know, the news gotta come. The news got to come. You know, it just is what it is. Some gonna like it and some ain't. You know. Now, what I do want to talk about is what the brother Ken Lightning asked me. You know, big salute to you, my brother. I was gonna speak about it, and I still speak about it on the live as well. What do you do when you're walking in a dog park or you're walking out in the park somewhere and a dog runs up on you and your dog is on a leash, the dog is loose. You could be walking through a neighborhood, the dog busts out the garage, busts out the front door, runs up on you and your dog. What are you to do? You know, are you to run away with your dog or let your dog defend himself? And is it a bad look for you to pull your dog away when he's trying to defend your area? You know, what should you do? Now, let's just say it like this. You know, I'm going to give you what I would do, and hopefully it's the right thing to do, you know, because I'm just giving you this straight off the dome, you know, and we'll speak about what the right thing is to do and what some people do and how the trouble and the problem get into the situation, you know. Now, me, myself, if I'm walking down the street and got my, you know, one of my pit bulls and a dog come running out, I'm gonna assess the situation instantly. Is this a real big dog, or is this a small dog, or a smaller dog, or something? Now, just say if it's a big mastiff type dog, and he comes charging out of the yard, busts out of the garage, and he's coming, you know, I can literally look at this dog and see if he's coming for real or not. You know, first thing I'm gonna do, once I see the dog coming, I'm going to try to pull my dog the opposite direction. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm gonna try to do, because I'm trying to avoid the situation. So I'm gonna pull my dog in the opposite direction. You know, if he coming from this way, I'm gonna try to go back the other way. Off top, you know, my dog is gonna be looking at the dog, so he's gonna be trying to pull. So I'm going back the opposite direction. If the dog keeps coming, you know, I mean, the most I can do is pull my dog back until the dog actually makes contact with him. You know, I'm not going to, you know, Brother Ken was saying something about, you know, how some dogs, they come running and they stop at the very edge. They stop about 5 feet before they get to you. They run full speed and they just stop right there. They bluffing, you know. And in this particular case, I would hold my dog. I'm not going to let him go. When my dog make contact with this dog and my dog goes to shaking him, I'm going to still have my dog on the leash, you know, holding my dog by the leash. I'm going to try to stop it. You know, like I said, I'll walk away from it and try to avoid it as best as I could, you know. And in some instances, it depends on how big the dog is. I would pick my dog up off the ground. I done did that before. A dog, you know, I seen like little pocket type dogs, bully type dogs come running at my dog. And I just picked them up off the ground and walk away and keep walking, you know, until the owner was able to grab their dog, because, you know, it's easier ways to do it. And you always get the situation where you may be in the dog park and you got your dog on a leash, and what we seen on the video, like how somebody dog come and run up on your dog, and people always say you're supposed to socialize your dog and this and that and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. This is the thing. This don't have nothing to do with socializing your dog. This got something to do with dogs running packs, dogs working hierarchy. One dog is trying to become the alpha of this whole dog park, you know. So he may, even though he's a friendly dog, when it come to dog language, we don't know what they saying eye to eye, growl to growl. So this dog come running up. He's friendly to all the other dogs. At least all of them getting along, He come running up. Now, I'm holding my dog back. And I always say this. When I got my dog on a leash, there's no way you can argue with me about anything when it comes to my dog attacking your dog, because my dog is on a leash. Your dog is loose. If your dog loose and he run up on my dog in that circumference, in that area, and my dog grab him, that's just his ass, And I may not say it like that in the courtroom, but I mean, what more can I do? I got my dog on a leash, Then they start screaming. This is the problem I always have. When you have people who let their dog run around loose, and then when they start something, they always screaming about, you got a dangerous dog when you got a pit bull breed dog. And your dog end up being the one that finished the fight. He didn't start it, but he finished the fight. And the first thing they start screaming out is, oh, you got a dangerous dog. You got a pit bull. Then they want to call the police because their dog is a mixed breed dog and your dog is a pit bull, and your dog automatically gonna get looked at like he started the problem and like you the problem at the dog park. That's the problem we have. Brother walking with his dog on a leash, could be over here by himself. Now your dog running around. Like I said, if I didn't see this myself, maybe it'd be hard for me to believe it. But like I told you, I had my Malinois and I tried to come in the damn gate with my Malinois. The woman had a bullshit dog. It wasn't bullshit to her, but it was, when it comes to high quality, purebred dogs, that Malinois was 10 times better than what she was. And see, that's the bad part about the whole situation, is because as the pit bull owner, the person with the dog on a leash is going to get the blame no matter how it goes down a lot of the times, and even if they don't get the blame from the police officer, they get the blame from the people in the park. The people in the park look at them like they're wrong. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's a pit bull breed dog, And one woman got up under my comment saying something about you're supposed to socialize your dogs when they're young. And I understand all that quite well, And my dog can be a very social dog. But that don't mean he want to be jumped all on by your dog. Jumping all on by your dog and being bowed down and making bow down to your dog is not part of socializing your dog, My dog can be very social with people, very social with dogs, but he need his space when it comes to dogs, A dog can be social, but how social do a dog gotta be for a child to just come up and just want to rub on them and stay rubbing on them for 5 and 10, 15 minutes? Nobody's going to let their child hug on a dog for that long without knowing something about the dog, for one. So when your dog come running up out the blue and run up on my dog, my right is to stand there with my dog. Let my dog defend himself if he can. So what happens if your dog shoot past my dog and comes to bite me? Then we look at this whole thing different, right? So let's look at it like this. I got my dog on a leash, walking in the dog park. Your dog shoots past my dog. Your dog smells my dog a little bit, shoots past my dog, and comes towards me. Now what is my dog to do? Your dog bites me. My dog does nothing. But he's sociable. My dog does nothing at all. Your dog comes, bites me, and now it's a story for that. Oh, he never did this before, or so-and-so, or whatever. But my dog, in the back of all y'all heads, you be saying, my dog ain't do what he's supposed to do. He was supposed to protect his owner. Or he's supposed to protect his owner when it's keeping you from getting in the lawsuit. And like I said, brothers can't help that they have the bully breed dog. They got the bully breed dog, and it just so happened the bully breed dog is the dog that won the fight in the dog park when the loose dog came and started it. You know? Now the pit bull was bred to fight throughout many, many hundreds of years, right? We can't help that. But all dogs fight. Not just one dog. All dogs fight. They just have different ways of fighting. So when your dog comes start a fight and he can't finish the fight, you have no right to voice all the profiling names and you saying this dog is a dangerous dog, an aggressive dog, and he has no right to be over here. You wouldn't know how aggressive a dog is or how dangerous a dog is if he's on a leash and you don't come up in his area. You give him his same space, his same privacy that you would get if you know in your area. Now, I will say this. When you come with your dog off leash in a dog park, does that mean you own all the property that you know your dog can roam around in? You know? So it's like you saying, oh, once you let your dog loose, anywhere in this park, your dog has the right to go and has the right to do what he want to do. There's a reason they say don't bring dogs in heat to dog parks. There's a reason they say don't bring the dogs in heat to dog parks, because you have male dogs there. And what male dogs do? They build testosterone and they have their little ways amongst each other. How many people go along with what they say don't bring a dog in heat to a dog park? People bring them in heat to dog parks all the time. Now this person over here running around with their dog loose that's thinking they run the dog park. They don't understand that there's a female smell in the park. And now her dog is going to do something a little different this time. You know, he's coming to G-check the person who got the bulldog on the leash over here. Her dog is coming to G-check him. It's a female out here in heat and you ain't getting it. You know, because it's dog talk. This ain't what the people don't know nothing about, none of this type of stuff. You know, that's in the park. This dog talk. They can't hear it. This is lingo that the dogs passing to each other. Now your dog run up on him, get shook down. And then you get the trash talk to you because you got the pit bull breed dog. And I tell you, it was made for me to see that when I had Marino, my Malinois, going into that park and see how that woman treated me with her dog loose. And my dog, I know for a fact Marino would have beat the dog up. And he's a Malinois. He's not even bred for that. But I know for a fact he would have beat that dog up. But she had a nice sized dog and he came to the gate growling. I could see, you know, I know dogs. You know, I could kind of speak a little bit of that lingo. Dog came to the gate showing aggression. And then first thing I did was looked at the dog, and then I looked at the woman. And when I looked at her, she gave me a look like, she gave me that look, you know, like, okay, I'm not supposed to come in this gate. So if I didn't see that, then I wouldn't believe a lot of this stuff outside of seeing it on videos when brothers videotape it, you know. But folk act just like this. You know, so that's why I stay away from dog parks unless nobody's out there. Then I'll take my dog out there, let him run around by himself and chill and have fun or whatever. But when there's a whole bunch of people out there, I don't even go out there. You know, and with the pit, I just don't even take the pit to the dog park, like the dog park. You know, I take the pits to the football fields and the baseball, but them kind of parks and different things. You know, where I really probably wouldn't see too many dogs, even though I see a lot of dogs out there where I'm at, you know. But yeah, man, you know, like the brother said, man, what is it for you to do when you're walking down the street and a dog busts out the house and come running full throttle, you know. In some instances, you know, say you got a big dog come running, a big, like cane corso, what they call them big dogs, them big wolf dogs, them, I forgot the name of them, but anyway, you got them big dogs come running up out the yard and they running. You almost to the point where you want to drop your leash when the dog gets, you know, at a certain point. You know, because it's all about defending your ground, you know, your territory. And this is the thing. Sometimes when we have these dogs, like I said, in my personal experience, you know, if it's a dog like a house dog or something, and he come running out, something even like as big as a Cocker Spaniel, and you come running out, I'm gonna lift my dog up, you know, and pick him up and try to walk away with him. You know, even if the Cocker Spaniel trying to bite me, I'm not gonna let my pit bull grab him because he's coming out there trying to grab me like that, because I know he'll hurt him. That's just me. You know, I can't speak for everybody else. I know he'll hurt him, so I'm trying to avoid the situation. I done got chased by Cocker Spaniels when I was younger. We used to run past the house and he'd come chasing you out the yard every single day, walking past the yard. You know, so, and I owned them as well, had one as well, two of them, you know, throughout my life. But something like that, I pick my dog up and totally avoid it by picking my dog up. And if my dog try to grab me, then I may have to let him down. But other than that, you know, but a big dog, like a German Shepherd or a dog bigger than that, you know, what are you to do, man? What are you to do? You know, are you to try to avoid it and pulling your dog back and pulling your dog back? Next time, maybe your dog won't try to protect you as much because he got pulled back the last time he was trying to protect you. You know, when a dog fight, especially when you walking him on a leash, just because he want to go fight the dog don't mean necessarily that he's going at him because of animal aggression. You got to understand, he's protecting you. You know, when we say a bond and you got a bond with a dog, all that's part of the bond. You know what I'm saying? Even though he may want to get that dog, regardless, he want to get that dog even more now because the dog is coming towards you. If you got a bond with that dog, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, all I can say, man, Ken, in the situation, man, try to avoid it as much as you can. I would say if it's a situation where you feel like your life might be in some type of jeopardy as far as getting bit or something like that, I would say let my dog protect the ground. Let your dog protect his area. In that situation we watched on that video a little while, about a week or so ago, when the brother pit bull got attacked in the dog park, you know, I said then, and I'm gonna say it now, he didn't try to take his dog back enough after the attack happened. If it happened with me, I'm getting my dog out of that area. You know, he's not gonna be around the woman. He had his dog kind of where the dog can still bite the woman and do all other kind of stuff. You know, I don't think he really pulled his dog off enough. Even though he was in the right of way, he didn't pull his dog off enough to try to avoid the situation or try to avoid more problems. You know what I'm saying? And I would have did a little bit more than that. You know, I'm really gonna try to avoid the situation. Even though I'm looking at this dog and know my pit bull can kick his ass, I'm gonna try to avoid the situation. You know, even though I got what they would call a free kill. You know, a free kick ass kicking. You know, I'm gonna try to avoid it, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just that, you know, because I know it's super hard to get these dogs off of people dogs, for one. When you're not in that box and doing it like the illegal way in the box, you can't get your dog, these pit bulls, off these dogs. You know what I'm saying? It's way harder. You don't got breaking sticks. The anxiety is totally through the roof. Everybody's screaming and hollering and trying to get the dogs, and you can't get them dogs off the same way you can when you're in a box with a square where everybody calm and chilling and the dogs just doing what they came to do. You know? And you be like, oh, you done broke off 1 million dogs. You done broke 1 million dogs from off dog fights. from being locked on each other. But now your dog get in this one fight in the middle of the street and you can't get them off. And that's because, man, it's the difference. Especially them furry dogs, them dogs with a lot of fur on them. And them pits grab hold to them, man, they get them and they just hold them. You know what I'm saying? It's totally, totally different, man. You know, so all I can say is just try to avoid the situation. At the end of the day, you may want to talk trash to the people who dog it is. If you can avoid being bit and you can avoid the dogs fighting, period, you know, that's the best thing to do. Even though you may have the right of way, it's best to avoid the situation, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, because you never know who those dogs be. It might be the kids' dogs or, you know, the family pet or something like that. And, you know, things happen sometimes. They bust out the house or they come out the garage or come from up under this, come around the fence when the gate open or something. And they, you know, things happen sometimes, you know. And a lot of times I'm glad you said that, Ken, about the bluffing part, when they run up on you and they'll stop about 2 or 3 feet away from you. You know, a lot of times dogs will do that. So if you think you got the nerve to try to see if he gonna see if he gonna bluff, you know, a lot of dogs will be bluffing. You know what I'm saying? And most of the time, when you got a dog with you and the other dog that's coming towards you is a human biter, most of the time they'll go towards the dog and not the human. You know, most of the time. And you know, all I gotta say, man, is try to prevent the whole situation. Try to, you know, be the bigger person in that situation. Even if you, like I say, even if it's, you know, you in the right. You know, try to be the bigger person, man, and just avoid the situation. You know, and sometimes you might not be walking with a pit bull. You might be walking with another breed of dog, and the other dog come out in the road. You know, so, you know, it could be on the other foot sometime. The other dog come out of the yard that's gonna really hurt your dog. You know, so the thing was, what would you do then in that situation? You know, if you got the bullshit dog, as far as aggression wise, you got to pull him or you got to pick him up and run with him or something like that. So try to do it in the same way. Don't look at, because you got the dog that'll win this time, look at it like if your dog was the smaller dog, you know, or the dog that wasn't bred to fight. And do that same thing and you'll get the same result. You know what I'm saying? You know, and like I said, man, you got these people out here, you know, they come in all shapes and colors, Karens. You know what I'm saying? They feel certain kind of ways about these dogs. No matter what you do right, they're going to always try to scream on you. They're going to always try to say this and say that and call you these names and call your dogs names and aggressive this and aggressive that. You know, no matter what you do, you know, that's why I say, man, it need to be mandatory. At least if you want to have a loose part of the dog park, have a section of the dog park where it's loose and have the same stuff over here. Don't have the loose dog park looking better than the dog park for the brothers with the leashes. Have the same equipment and everything that they can sit on and little things they can go through with their dogs on this side, you know, and just stay over here if you want to have them loose, man, because it need to be mandatory that them dogs be on leashes. Because there's no way that you got any kind of wins in any kind of court situation when your dog is loose and my dog is on a leash. There's no way. If it does, then justice was not served. You know, and we've seen that plenty of times. So, I mean, it is what it is. I don't get too deep into that, you know. But yeah, man. You know, I just had to give y'all brothers and sisters that dog fighting bust because, you know, I get it fresh off the press. You know what I'm saying? And then I wanted to speak about what are you to do when you're walking down the street and something come out there running out there at you. You know, I'm going to tell you, you know, what I used to would do. First, I done gave you what I would do now. And I'm going to tell you what I would used to would do. I'm walking my dog on a leash and I got a pit bull. And especially if it's you know, you go certain areas, you know, you got stray dogs that be running around sometimes. You know, they may not be straight, but they run the neighborhood and they go back home and they run in that particular neighborhood or something. So in any cases, and I know this dog loose and he coming, the old me, I would start loosening up on my leash a little bit. I hold the leash tight with my left hand, and with my right hand, I'm getting, I'm just about to let it loose. And as soon as the dog get kind of in my area, I just let my chain loose. But I keep it in my hand, but I let it go the distance. You know what I'm saying? As soon as it get in that little area, I let them go the distance. But the thing about it, and I learned this a long time ago, and I've been stopped stuff like this, because I'm real cautious on my dog getting sick from another dog, my dog getting sick from animals. That's why I don't let my dog jump on possums, raccoons, none of that type of stuff, unless I got a hunting dog for that. But I'm real cautious on dogs getting sick, and I'm not letting my dog jump on a stray dog when I know he carrying all kind of diseases. Possibility he could be the healthiest dog in the city, or he could possibly be having a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So I'm not gonna let my dog jump on stray dogs and stuff like that. So, what I'm telling you about how to let my dog go on him, that was probably been me as a teenager. As a very young teenager, because even as an older teenager, I wouldn't let my dogs just jump on anything. Now, in some situations, you have people, big double dog, 2 or 3 dogs come running out the yard at you, and you're walking down the street. You got to be able to assess the whole situation, as a pit bull owner. If you feel like it's a threat, then, why wouldn't it be right for the dog to protect the area? But if it's not a threat, man, don't make it a threat. Don't overblow it and say, oh, just because your dog was on a leash, you want your dog to shake something down today, because you having a bad day or something, or you might be got in an argument with the old lady and took a walk with the dog, and now somebody come run out the yard ready to run up over here. The first day you're gonna be like, run up over here, motherfucker. I'm gonna let this motherfucker shake your ass down. And he come running up over here. The best thing to do be to avoid the situation, man. If the dog not gonna really attack you, then just keep on walking. Take your dog, keep walking forward if you're gonna walk forward, or go back the other direction. It just depends, But just try to avoid the situation, man, because at the end of the day, the pit gonna get the bad end of the stick. If he didn't start the fight, they're gonna say something about him, something else about it, especially if the other dog got some bad wounds or something, so man, it's just best to avoid it. And like I said, you never know who these pets belong to when these different things happen. So always keep that in mind. It might be a little kid dog that your dog about to shake up, even though it's the family pet. Little kid don't know nothing about that type of stuff, and you gotta always keep that stuff in mind, man. You know what I'm saying? But one of these good old days, we'll stop being bullied. And that's why I started my channel by saying, walk with your head high. That's what that shit mean. That's what it's for. When you out here in the public with your pit bull, why is you over here sneaking and acting like you can't do this? Why you over here sneaking the treadmill when we over here buying this motherfucker straight from Walmart? You know what I'm saying? Why is you over here sneaking this when we over here doing this? But you can't walk with your head high if you ain't doing the right things. If you're doing the right things and you're out here just walking and chilling with your dog, why not walk with your head high? Your pet is just as important as the next woman pet or man pet. I don't care what kind of dog it is. This is a top dollar show dog. This is a top dollar show dog. 2 different breeds. Yours worth thousands. This one worth thousands. 2 different breeds. Oh, because it's this kind of breed, he gonna get treated differently. So it's best to just try to avoid the whole situation, man. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, always protect your ground. Can't tell nobody not to protect their ground. What's the purpose of having a dog? I feel like he can't protect me. If he gonna do any damn thing, he ain't gotta worry about no fighting. He gotta worry about fighting for me. Whether it's a dog, a human, or whatever is coming towards me for danger, he got to worry about protecting me from that. Now, if you're in that case, then it just is what it is. It is what it is, my brothers. And like I said, man, I'm gonna catch y'all on the live as well, but it's gonna be sporadic. I ain't sure exactly when it's coming out. You know, it'll be out sometime today or tomorrow. Most likely today sometime, but I ain't quite sure. You know, might be this evening sometime. I just gotta get these little puppies, man. They start getting you may have heard them in the background throughout the show. You know, they start getting a little loud and shit. But gotta do what I gotta do as a dog, man. Seems like your job never damn over. You know, big shout out, man, to everybody that's listening, everybody that's rocking with the Bay, everybody that just started rocking with the Bay, anybody that's been rocking with me 3 or 4 years now. You know what I'm saying? Big thank you to all y'all. Like I always say, I can't do it without you. You know, can't do it without you, my brothers and my sisters. And I always say, man, everybody's dog story is important when you talking some real shit. You know, when you talking about something that ain't lying, you ain't lying about it. I don't care. It ain't no such thing as big you and little me, or big me and little you when it comes to stories and your dog, whatever you did in your dog days. You know, everybody's story is important. Folk be trying to make it seem like, oh, because you met this person, or I met this person, or I met that person, my dog stories are more relevant than his dog stories. No, man. You know what I'm saying? Because if I got champions, I got champions. That don't mean you got to know the people I made champion off of. You know, back in my days. And we get that confused with a lot of things. I keep telling y'all, you got to remember the United States is a big country. You know what I'm saying? Real big country. Because you don't know the people that I made champion off of, don't make them irrelevant. You know? It's a big country. That's what this whole podcast thing came from. At one point, brothers were saying, oh, you want brothers to come out, tell their stories, tell their stories, tell their stories. What's the purpose of brothers telling their stories when you're going to still make them seem irrelevant compared to other brothers telling their stories? Big salute, big shout out to brother South Bottom Kennels, and his dog show that he had over the past week, man. And big salute and big shout out to everybody that participated or went to it. You know, look like brothers had a great time as always. Great looking dogs out there. And you know, brothers is doing the right things out here with these dogs, man. The positive things out here with these dogs and enjoying their damn dogs. That's what it's all about, man. Walking with your damn chest out. You know, these brothers ain't figured out how to walk with their damn chest out, and then they try to blame it on other things. You know what I'm saying? Blame it on other things. Do the right things with these dogs out here, man. You know what I'm saying? Brothers giving you plenty of opportunities. But hey, it is what it is, man. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay legal. It's your boy PB K9s doing it the way I always do it on the PBC. And I'm out.